Wellness Wednesday. We are back again another Wednesday. I don't know who will show up today, but I'm here. Hey, and you know what? You got to show up for yourself. If you don't show up for yourself, no one else will. So I'm here tonight showing up for myself. Just wanted to spend a little bit of time just talking about some things that I believe I'm not the only one experiencing, but I believe all of us at some point or another have experienced what I'm talking about tonight. Many times we don't always share the truths about some of the painful things that we experience because we don't want people to look at us a certain way. But tonight, what I want to share with you, I actually wrote some notes down because I want to stay on my train of thought while I can. But I want to talk about the painful truth about why people put themselves last. I am a 66-year-old woman who have been guilty of putting herself last. You may wonder why I talk about self care. That's why. Because I know that unless I practice self care, self sabotage is always waiting around the corner to see if it can grab me. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way and who has experienced this. Because if you've ever grown up in any type of family where you were taught the importance of putting everyone else in front of yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you were told that the first shall be last and the last shall be first, you know what I'm talking about. If you were told it was better to do certain things for others than it was for yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And what I know is that lifestyle leads to self sabotage. It leads to you not knowing the importance of practicing care for yourself. It leads to you not walking in your truth for fear of putting yourself where you should really be. It's a mindset that I grew up in, steeped in religion. It was always about sacrifice. It was always about what you could do for others. It was the way we lived our lives. Always making sacrifices for others, but never for ourselves. Always being out in front serving others, but never learning how to serve ourselves. That's self sabotage. And it was rooted in religion. It was rooted in a space that did not allow me to practice self care. It was rooted in a thought life that never even allowed me to think that self care was something that I could aspire to. It was rooted in self sabotage. It was rooted in self destruction, all in the name of putting someone else before yourself. And that is why I talk about self care because I realize, and I've posted this several places this week, and I realize that I'm not the only one who thinks this way or feels this way. It's rooted in how we grow up. It's rooted in the things that we talk about at home around the table. Like I said, at my age, if you're a 50 plus, 60 plus, you know exactly what it is I'm talking about. Living in this culture. Now, other cultures may not have that same experience, but in the culture that I grew up in, that was my experience. We didn't lift each other up. We didn't tell each other, you can make it. You have what it takes. If we did, it was when we got in church and we said, look at your neighbor and say, this is a real thing that we need to address. It's so important that we learn how to take care of ourselves. When we realize the importance of self-care and do what we need to do for ourselves, life changes for us. Now, here's how you can tell if you are someone who would sacrifice yourself for others. You feel guilty prioritizing yourself. Is that you? Do you feel guilty prioritizing yourself? Do you always have to check in with others first to make sure they have everything they need before you decide if it's something that you should do for yourself? That's self-sabotage. That's you feeling the need to put others before yourself because that's what you've been taught. And you feel if you do anything other than that, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It is necessary for us to care for ourselves. It is necessary for us to prioritize ourselves. We struggle because we don't know how to prioritize ourselves. We struggle because we don't even think we deserve to be a priority. So if you don't think you deserve to be a priority, guess what? You're not going to be a priority. But if you believe you deserve to be a priority, that's exactly what will happen for you. It's so important that you realize self-care is necessary. Being a sacrificial lamb or whatever you want to call it for others is a disservice to yourself. You deserve better. The other way you can tell if you're not practicing self-care and you're stuck in self-sabotage because you never have time or energy for yourself. You're always running around taking care of things for other people. You don't know how to say no. I talked about that earlier. You don't know how to say no. Like, no is a complete sentence. You have to preserve yourself. I learned the hard way, giving of myself until I was empty, making sure everyone else was good, and it didn't matter because I'll find a way. I don't do that any longer. If we both can't win, then move on to someone else. I don't have that kind of time in my life. None of us do. But you attract into your life the type of person that you are. And so if you find yourself attracting into your life people that only take from you, is because they realize that that's what they can do. I'm willing to risk being by myself so I can take care of myself. If it means that I have to be a sacrifice for someone else, and that's not a mutual agreement or understanding, why? Why would we do that to ourselves? In the name of what? To even think like that is not healthy. And so we have to rewire our brains. We have to think differently about ourselves and what we deserve. We can't allow old messaging to keep us walking in unhealthy places and spaces. Sometimes you really want to be in a place where you're healthy, but it's hard for you because you don't have anyone supporting you. You don't have anyone in your circle that talks that way or acts that way. It's because sometimes you have to leave that circle in order to find those people who act that way. You have to be willing to remove yourself from the things that no longer serve you so you can actually create space in your life for people who are like how you want to be. There's a sacrifice that you have to make. All of us make sacrifices every day. But if you're not making a sacrifice for you to live a better life, then why are you sacrificing? What is the purpose behind your sacrifice? If you are living in any sort of situation that does not allow you to be who you truly are, you're living beneath how you should live. You're living beneath what you deserve for yourself. You deserve better. All of us deserve the very best possible life that we could have. But it won't happen if you don't create space in your life for it. The other thing I felt in my own life, low self-worth. I didn't value myself enough to, because if I did, I wouldn't have been in certain types of relationships. I didn't understand who I was. So because of that, I stayed in safe spaces for way longer than I needed to, hoping that maybe someone would see me, maybe they would recognize what I was going through, and maybe they would offer me something that would help to make me feel more worthy. Are you kidding me? That's what we do when we walk in a place that is painful because we refuse to love ourselves and we walk in self sabotage. It's a real thing. Low self esteem, low self worth is a real thing. You know what? It's rooted in guilt and shame. You feel guilty asking for what you're worth or what you want or what you deserve. You don't want anybody to know that you deserve or you want certain things, so you walk with your head down. You don't believe that you deserve enough, so that's what you do to yourself. It's sad when you live in that type of reality. There's more for you. Those of you who are tuning in right now, there's more for you. There's a reality that will allow you to walk in truth, where you uplift others. Because if you can't uplift yourself, it's impossible for you to uplift others. And you know how you know people don't have the capacity to uplift others? It's because they walk with their heads down. They walk in low self-worth, low self-esteem. They allow people to walk over them. It's a painful truth. It's a painful truth. You want to be seen, but you don't know how to show yourself because you're steep in low self-worth and low self-esteem. It's sad. It's a sad life to live, because I promise you, when you get into the place where your esteem is where it needs to be, it doesn't matter what other people say or do. You know who you are and you walk freely in that. It doesn't matter. It's a work that you have to do. And guess what? Every day you have to do it. Every day you have to find a way to walk in who you're created to be. It's a wonderful thing when you can find that space where you know the importance of walking in who you were created to be. The other thing we carry around is unhealed trauma and emotional baggage. Things that people have said that they thought would be hurtful towards you, they're only words that hurt them. When people say things that are hurtful, it's more about them than it is about you. Why do you take it personal? Well, when you have low self-esteem and low self-worth, you take everything personal because you don't know who you are. When you know who you are, does it really matter what other people say or do? Because you're walking in your truth. You can spot people who are painful right away. The words that come out of their mouth, the things that they do, the actions that they take. People are telling us every day who they are. It's up to you to recognize them. You don't need to call them out. They call themselves out. What you need to do is to show who you are by walking in your truth. There's a way out. There's a way out of self-sabotage. It's walking in the space where you learn how to love yourself. And it's not predicated on another individual. It's not. You don't have to have someone in your life to love you. You can learn to love yourself. When you love yourself, you will draw to yourself people who love you. But when you practice putting the needs of others above your own needs, you can never get to that place. You don't feel worthy of the place, first of all. You find every reason in the world why you should not be there. And I'm telling you, there are more reasons why you should be there than why you should not. But you have to do the work. I had to do the work. I do the work every day because it's worth it. It's worth finding myself. It's worth being in a space where I'm happy with myself, where I understand the only person responsible for my joy, my peace, the love, the care that I give towards myself is me. I can hold myself accountable to that. I'm not waiting for somebody else to come along and say, "Hey, Carla, you look good today. You dress nice." You, when I walk out of my house, I walk out knowing that. Anything that anyone says is just an additive. I had to work to get here. I'm not going back. And with everything in me, I want to share that with other people. I want others to know that you too can be free of self sabotage. You don't have to walk in the pain of not living out your truth. It's sad when you don't understand that you lack wisdom that can take you out of a place and put you into a healthy place. Yes, it's sad when you miss out on all the goodness that is for you because you don't feel like you deserve it. Can you imagine wasting your time on people, places, and things that have no value? We do that when we don't know who we are. We stoop to their levels when we don't know who we are. It's not necessary to stoop to a level when there's greatness inside of you. You don't have to wait for someone else to see your greatness. You just have to see it in yourself. You just have to see it in yourself. That's all it takes. Seeing yourself as worthy, seeing yourself as deserving. It is so important that you see yourself the way you are supposed to. How do you get out, Harry? First of all, you have to decide that being out is better than being stuck in it. When you realize that you deserve better than where you are, no one will have to tell you. You will do something about it. Sometimes it takes us getting tired, being frustrated. It takes us being stuck. You use the word stuck. You don't have to be stuck. Stuck is a choice. I promise you, we're choosing where we are. And if you could choose to be stuck, you could choose to be unstuck. You have to make the decision. Find those places in your life where you feel stuck. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave a link in this live. I have a free download which will allow you to see those places where you're just not walking in the health that you need for yourself. It's a self-awareness checklist. We have to check ourselves to see, how did I get stuck? Because Getting stuck just didn't happen overnight. It's a series of overnights. It takes time to get stuck. You don't just wake up one day and you're stuck. It was decisions, it was thoughts, it was things, it was people, things you believed about yourself that was not true. Because if it was not true, there's no way you would believe it. You're welcome. It's a process of reversing your thinking. If you've been thinking negative thoughts, here's an opportunity to think positive. It's you switching the wiring on in your brain to a different circuit. It's replacing some things in your life that help you to get to a place where you can be who you are. We all have that ability. Some of us practice it and some of us don't. The reason some of us don't practice it is because we think we're okay where we are. But your actions, that's what's going to really tell the truth about where you are. Actions make a difference. You know, it's sad when we don't understand the value that we have within ourselves. Because when we don't understand that, we find ourselves in places and spaces where we are not benefiting from our purpose in the earth. We're just here wasting time and energy. You don't have to waste your time and energy. You can be something different. You can do something different. It's a choice that all of us get to do. You're welcome, Harry. We all get to decide the kind of life that we live or we want to live. This is all we have. We only get this life. And how you show up every day. They say what you do, how you do anything is how you do everything. So how are you doing anything? Because that's how you're going to do everything. So I can see that even some of the comments on here, it's not about me. When you realize who you are, no one can tell you anything differently. It's only when you don't know who you are. When you don't know who you are, you waste time in places and spaces on people, places and things that don't bring value. But when you know who you are, you are powerful. There's nothing anyone can do about it. I believe that when we start understanding the journey that we are on in life, that we won't waste our time living beneath who we're supposed to be. We won't waste our time in situations that don't bring us joy. We won't waste our time on the internet searching for things when what the thing that we're looking for is inside of us. When you find what you're looking for, you will know, and so will everyone else. You know why they'll know? Because you'll change who you are. You'll walk out on certain situations in life. You'll start you'll start ignoring certain things that happen because you realize your peace, your joy is so much more valuable. You'll understand that you're on a mission. You have somewhere you need to be. There's some people who really want to hear what you have to say. And those are the people will hear from that frequency and their lives will be changed. You don't have to live in self-sabotage. You can really learn how to prioritize yourself. You don't have to fear change. That's another thing. We fear change. Change is inevitable. It's a part of life. Some of us want to stay like the way we are because we're afraid of what we don't know. So I'm comfortable with who I am because to change, I might not know what I will become. But if you believe that change could be for the better, then you're willing to take the risk. Life is full of risk. You get to determine the risk that you take. You get to do that. You get to choose. No one can steal my joy. Nothing can steal my joy. Nothing, not a word, nothing. You know why? Because no one gave me joy. No one can give you joy. No one can give you peace. You don't have that power. No one has that power. They only have the power if you give it to them. When you recognize the power that exists within you, things look differently in life. You become hopeful. You recognize it's a daily thing, though. You don't just get here and that's the end of it. No, every day I get up, I express levels of gratitude throughout the day. I use my journal. I pray, I meditate. All of those things are things that are helpful for me to continue to walk down this path. It's a lifestyle. You don't just show up here one day. It's over a series of days and thoughts, surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. You deserve that. You deserve to surround yourself with the kind of people who will uplift you, who will agree with the goodness that is inside of you. You deserve people in your life who recognize you for who you are, and only for that reason, not for them to benefit from you, but just that they see you. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be seen. But if you see yourself, others will see you. They'll see you. But if you're just trying to be seen because you don't value yourself, then there's no telling what will happen in your life, the results that will happen as a result of that thought process. What I know is that you have to be willing to do the work. You have to feel like what you want for yourself is more important than anything else. You have to quiet the noise. Your voice has to be louder than anything else you hear. Your thoughts have to be leading you down the path that you want for yourself. I didn't just get here. I just I just didn't wake up one day and find myself here. I wasn't even on the track to be here. The reason why is because nobody told me about here. Nobody told me that it was possible for me to love myself. Nobody told me that. So, you know what? When I start realizing that for myself, it started being part of the conversation that I had with others. Because maybe me telling them would make a difference in their life. Sometimes you have to give what it is you want. And sometimes that's exactly what you need to get started on the journey. You have to put some good out into the earth for you to receive it. Not that you're putting it out there to receive it, but because you understand that when you do that, that is what happens. There are so many things in life that as you become a mature person, that you begin to see, you begin to understand that when I was younger, I didn't understand. I didn't know. I was so busy living life that I forgot to live life. I was busy going through the motions, trying to keep up, trying to see the latest, do the latest, all of the above, that I didn't realize that I needed to take care of me, that I needed to see my worth, that I needed to see my value, that it didn't come from an institution. It can't. Most of the times, institutions are set up to serve themselves. You're very fortunate if you become a part of one and that is not their truth. But you have to be that institution in your own life where you make the decision to walk out on everything that is not serving you well. Walk out on everyone that is not willing to see you for who you are. It's a risk. But I could tell you now, sitting at this big age, I'm so glad that I took a risk on myself. I'm glad that I betted on me. Because had I not bet on me, I wouldn't be here today. I couldn't sit here today and have this conversation. and be authentic. See, because there are a lot of people out here talking stuff, but they can't carry it out because they're not being authentic. Like people really want authenticity. They really want to know that it exists. Some want to know that it exists, but they don't even know what it looks like. But when you figure out what it looks like and you come to the place where you begin to understand authenticity, it'll make a difference in your life. We get to decide. You get to decide how you live your life. You get to decide what is best for you. All of us have that same opportunity to decide for ourselves what is best for us. It's a daily thing. It's daily. It's a daily decision. And when you get up tomorrow, make the decision to do something that is going to lead you to that place where you need to be. I'm sorry, you guys saying you can't hear me? Let me see. Is that any better? Someone let me know in the comments. Thank you. It's so important that we find ourselves. Now is a perfect time to really walk in the truth about who you are. It's a perfect time to get out of that place where you are not being valued, where people are not seeing your worth. Because you know what? There are people who really see and believe in you, and you don't even know it because you haven't positioned yourself, thank you, Harry, to see them. You haven't positioned yourself. Joseph, you don't have to be lost. You don't have to be lost. None of us do. The place to be found is within you. It is. It's within you. Everything that we need is within us. And all you have to do is look for it. Speak it out. Say what it is you want. Say what it is you need. Say it. Speak it. Become it. I promise you, I think sometimes we try so hard that we miss it. Sometimes it's right there. But because we're trying so hard, we miss it. Yes, let it speak. Let it come forth. Let it present itself to you. I feel like every day life is presenting us with something. Every day there's an opportunity presenting itself to us. And because we are not in a space where we can hear it, we miss it. We miss it because we're playing games, because we don't understand the value of our time, because we don't understand that you'll never get this moment back. All you have is right now. And what are you doing with this right now? What are you doing with it? You get to decide what you do with your moments every day. Every day. Imagine getting on the internet and saying things to people that you don't know that aren't lifting them up. Why would you do that? Why would you waste your time when you could actually be saying something that would lift you up as well as the other person? That's all any of us have to do is spread love, is to be able to lift up others. It is so easy to show love because when love is inside of you, that's what you're going to show forth. This is how you can tell whether you live in a place of self sabotage or self care. Self sabotage is an inside job, just like self care. It's an inside job. So if you can brew out hate instead of love, it just means hate is inside of you. But if you can give forth love, regardless of hate, love is inside of you. There's nothing anyone can do when you get to the place in your life where you care. The only reason why I can teach about self-care is because I found that place in myself. I found it inside of me. So when you find it inside of you, what goes on around you cannot enter in you because you're keeping your thoughts healthy. You start out your day thinking of things to be thankful for. You're writing in your journal. You're talking to people. You're having healthy relationships. You seek out healthy relationships. That's what you do. You look for places and spaces where you can grow yourself. All of us have the capacity to grow. As long as you are still alive, there's lies within you the ability to grow yourself. As long as you are alive, there's something that you can add that is positive. I mean, like if you want hate, all those, you can find that on other channels because you're not going to get that here. You're not. You're not going to get that here. What you're going to get here is a word that will help you on your journey. You may not even know that you need to hear about caring for yourself. But if you're here and you're staying here, you obviously are in that space where this is something that could be helpful for you. I don't stay in spaces and places where there's no value. I don't. I'm not watching YouTube channels that don't speak to who I am. When I stay and listen to a YouTuber, it's because they're saying something that I value. they're saying something that is inspiring me. I'm always like this. Yes. This is how I live my life. This is how I live my life. This is, I told you, I didn't start out like this. I'm here now because I walk this thing out daily. It doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts that are negative. It doesn't mean that people don't try to say negative things to me. It doesn't mean that I don't sometimes have to go through negative environments. What it does mean is that I refuse to allow it to be inside of me. So I build a wall around myself by being confident in who I am and understanding whose I am. That's, it takes time to get here. Thank you. It takes time to get here. Sometimes it does mean you have to keep to yourself, and I do that too. But you can't always keep to yourself. There are times when you have to be out and amongst people, whether it's your job, things you want to do in your community, family you want to be around. But people need positivity. It is the one thing that I feel like we're lacking. Hey, Mr. Stick to It. Thank you. We need people in our lives who are going to help us to be uplifted. We have enough negativity. We've heard enough negative stuff growing up because I listened to someone today, and what she was saying is that if you are saying negative things, sometimes it's because you're in a situation where you've received negativity, and so that's what you give back. It's like you have to send a different signal to your brain in order to respond differently. And I know that to be the truth in my own life. There are certain triggers that happen, certain things that I hear, and I have to wait before I respond because I want to make sure I'm not responding based on an old trigger. You know how you'll hear music from the past and it'll, stir up something in you. That's because it's from the past, and it's a reminder. Yes. We don't know, Fred. We don't really know. Nothing is promised. All we have is this moment. And if this is the last YouTube video I do, I know that in this moment, I shared words that can help someone stop sabotaging themselves, stop preferring others over themselves, stop being a self sacrificial lamb, and learn the value of loving yourself so you can love others properly. See, because that's the whole purpose of this. Thank you, Harry. The whole purpose is that you will begin to understand why you need to care for yourself properly is because there is a way for you to be in the earth that can really cause that to happen in your life, where you can really walk in a place of being healthy, spirit, soul, and body. Sometimes we don't believe it because we've never been exposed to it. because we grew up in negative types of situations with people telling us certain things about other people, places, and things that we forget. That we forget that we get to choose how we see life, that we get to choose the lens that we view life through. All I'm sharing with you is the lens that I view life through. I'm just viewing life through a lens that tells me there's more to life than what I'm seeing. There's more to life than what I'm feeling and thinking. And the only way that I can get to that is to walk in a belief system that allows that thing to eventually show up in my life. Thank you. And God bless you always. I'm telling you, you can live a life filled with joy. Well, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be confronted with other things. It just means that regardless of how things are thrown at me today, I'm going to come out with joy. I've already determined what my end is going to be. And sometimes it may mean that I have to pick up the phone and talk to a family member or talk to a friend so they can remind me. Sometimes when we're in those negative spaces, it's because the muscle that we created that is positive, we need to exercise that. We need to bring a different type of energy into the situation. Someone there may need exactly what it is you have. And so when I give out, when I share, I'm not sharing, you know how they say, is the cup half full or half empty? My cup is full. I'm going to give you the overflow that's in the saucer because I got to make sure I'm okay. You have to make sure you're okay. You have to know the capacity that exists within you. And when you get to the point where you know that you've reached capacity, you have to pull yourself back. Yes, Cozy, yes. Yes. And teacher, yes. What I know for sure is that wherever you are today, you can add to that for a better tomorrow. And you know, it's not a religious belief that I have, though. It's a life for me. See, because I'm not religious. I believe in God. I believe there is a God. I also believe that if you have faith, you move, you do something, you show forth an action. There's something that you do. I don't believe that everyone who speaks well or good or who has a good heart has to be someone we label with a box within a box. I believe all of us have the capacity with the breath that is inside of us to be good people. I don't believe that everyone wants to be a good person. Yes, I am Harry. Everyone doesn't want to be good. But guess what? Everybody doesn't have to be good. You be good. Absolutely. I love that. God bless always. Yes. Woo. Yes. Hey, Just Talk. Thank you for showing up. We can be anything that we want to be. We can do anything that we want to do. You can do it. You can be it. You just got to decide. I'm deciding. And if you like what I'm saying and you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Thank you. Please subscribe, share. If I'm saying something that you know others in your life need to hear or will be inspired by, please share. I'm just here to be who I was created to be. I'm no different than anyone else on this live. I don't have any special qualities. There's nothing. There's nothing that makes me any different than anyone else on here. We all have the capacity to be who we were created to be. It's up to each of us to decide to walk in that place. When you decide to walk in who you were created to be, there's no telling the heights that you could go to in life. Like, so many people are waiting for others to give them permission. You don't need anyone's permission to be who you are. All you have to do is make the decision. You make the decision to be who you are, to be authentic, to walk in your truth, to show up fully you every day. Oh, thank you, Just Talk. Be who you were created to be. And here's the thing. All of us have within us the capacity to be who we are. We all have the capacity. The reason why we don't realize it is because we don't tap into it, because we don't understand that it's there for us. It's just not me. It's all of us that are on here. Every last one of you on here have the capacity to be everything that you imagine. Every dream that you have for yourself, it is possible for you to achieve it. Now, you're going to have to do something about it. You're going to have to take steps. There's some things you're going to have to do. There's some people you're going to have to, maybe pull back from, and others you may have to pull towards or lean towards. But if it's something you really want for yourself, it's in your hands. You hold the key to everything that you want in your life. You hold the key. No one else has the power. We give up our power because we believe it's possible for other people to rule over us. It's a psychological game that is being played. But if you ever come from behind the veil and really see what is really going on, it makes all the difference in the world in your life. You just have to believe it. Your belief, oh my God, you're so right, Jive at 5. But you know why they don't know who they are? Because they never ask the question. They never seek to know who they are. You know, a lot of people are afraid of who they really are because you might end up liking some things that you say you hate. Something may change inside of you that you've been holding on to as a truth. That's really not your truth, but it's the way you grew up. And that's what everybody told you was your truth. Sometimes we're just afraid to be who we are because we can't always control that. But why do we need to be in control? We only want to be in control when we've lost our control. Because listen, you're not trying to control anything that you are happy with. You're just carefree, living life, enjoying whatever comes your way. That doesn't mean that you don't have goals or things you set for yourself. That doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. Doesn't mean, there are spaces and places you don't go or expose yourself to. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means wherever you show up fully yourself. You show up in everything that you are. You show up because you know that there's a place for you in this space. And nothing happens until you show up. That's not being arrogant. It's just knowing that you have value and that you understand that your value is something that should be shared with everyone. Whew, Jive at 5, I'm telling you, spitting truths. Yes. People are told what and who they are, and they are too afraid to see the truth. Jive at 5, that's what I said earlier when I got on here. That was my story. That's how I grew up. I was told you're supposed to sacrifice yourself for others. You're supposed to put others first. Nobody told me that I could love myself. Nobody told me the value that I would feel once I loved myself and the capacity that would exist within me to love others. Yes, fear. It blocks you from all the things that are for you. And that's all it's there for. Because once you move on the other side of it, and you really see that the boogeyman or whatever you want to call that thing that's keeping you from moving on the other side of fear, it only exists in your mind. It only exists in your thoughts until you reach on to the other side and you see, that was all in my mind. It was a thought that maybe didn't even come from me. It may have come from the way my parents raised me. It may have come from the people that were on my jobs. It may have come from anywhere else. But I won't know until I put myself in the situation. We own our own destiny. Destiny is there waiting for us all the time to agree with it. When we agree with destiny, That's living. There's nothing worse than not living. There's nothing worse than not living. You know what I mean by that? We just do things because we can. Happy birthday, Anita. We just do things because we can, not because we want to. Now God bless you. God bless. I believe that is if you agree with it. It's preset. You have to agree with that because it can be preset, but we don't have to agree with it. So if you don't agree with it, then it never happens. See, so I'm careful about saying those sorts of things because I know you have to choose to live in a certain way. We all have choices. We do. We get to choose. But if I chose to come here, I'm certainly going to live fully in what I chose. I'm not going to choose to come to earth and not live fully out who I can be. Why? What would be the purpose in that? Why would we even do it? I think that when we choose choices, I disagree with you. I disagree. I'm choosing my destiny. I'm choosing my destiny. I am. I'm choosing my destiny. I'm choosing my destiny. And that's why I sit right here and believe what I believe because I've chose this. Because other people had things that they chose for me. You think about it. Our parents can choose certain things for us. They want us to go to school. They want us to excel in this, that, and the other. But I got a choice. And if we believe in God, you mean he wouldn't give us a choice? He puts a demand on us to be this? No. I came here with a choice. And I'm exercising my choice every day to be who I am. And I think I get what you're trying to say, but I think sometimes when we say things that about God, and it's like you don't have a choice because this is God is saying this is no, that's not the God that I want in my life. I don't see God that way. I don't see God forcing us to be anything. I see him giving us a choice. I do. And that is why I love how I get to live my life because I'm choosing. I wouldn't want to live in a world where I didn't have choices. I wouldn't want to serve a God who didn't give me choices. I wouldn't. I don't see it that way. You know what? it, yes, choosing love is what I believe brings us into destiny. Choosing to embrace that what brings us into what I believe is for us. There are people who thought they were loving us, but they were harming us. They didn't, their actions didn't necessarily mean us good, but they thought it was. But what we understand is that it was steeped in negativity, it was steeped in their own pain. And so it was the best that they thought they could do. I can take from that, but I'm always going to build my own. I don't expect my son to take everything that I say to him and do it. I expect him to take what he feels is going to work for his life and then build on that. And the next generation build on that. That's how I believe we evolve. When we take from that situation what is good for us. And then each generation gets better and better and better. It's our capacity to grow and to develop. We have to do the work. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. When you get your mindset in the place where you really begin to understand truth for you, yes. When you find that place in your life where your truth exists, no one will have to tell you anything differently. No one will have to tell you anything differently. You'll find out. And you know what? Some people are disruptors. I'm a disruptor. I come in, I get stuff stirred up. I'm going to come in and I'm going to share with you some things that I think will open your eyes if you're willing to open your eyes. That's what I do, even in my work. I'm teaching change. I'm the one that's like, no, here's a better way. I know it feels painful right now, but I promise you, if you take this and you apply it, it'll work out good for you. But it doesn't look like it. See, with a disruptor, it doesn't look like this makes sense because it has no rhyme or reason to it. It's not a straight line. But honey, let me tell you, I know enough about being a disruptor. I fully embrace it. I fully embrace walking into spaces and places where people don't think like I do. I don't expect them to. I don't expect them to. Because guess what? That's who I've chosen to be. I've chosen to be a disruptor. You know, growing up, I got in trouble all the time because I always did things my own way. I'm the oldest child. You know, my dad was a pastor. I wanted to see it for myself. I don't just believe it because you said it. I want to know. I should know. I can know. It's there for me to know. And while I may have been called, she's hard-headed, she doesn't listen to anybody, she always doing her own thing. Guess what? And you know what? God bless always. That's exactly why I am who I am. Because I'm a disruptor. It's not, I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I wasn't born to be anyone else but Carla Youngblood. That's who I am. It doesn't matter what generation or age I am. What matters is how I decide to show up in the world. It's the same thing for you. It's how you decide to show up in the world. No, I'm not. Jive at 5 now. How you decide to show up in the world is all that matters. And I realized I was born into the family that I was born into because there were some people who were going to need the disruption that I would cause. Growing up, I didn't recognize that. You know, they call people like me, or you the black sheep, or you the rebellious one, or you this, that, and the other. But look at me now. Now I fully embrace it because I realize it's who I am, but not only who I am now, it's who I've always been. I just didn't know enough to accept that about myself. And most of us are the same way. You were a certain way as a child, but someone came in trying to make you into what they thought you should be. But when you get to the place in life where you start walking in your authentic self, you realize, oh, I recognize this girl from way back then. I've always been her. You've always been you. And here's the thing that I love about it. All of us can be who we are and coexist together. We can really coexist together, even with our differences in opinions. They're all good. It's your opinion. It's just my opinion. But they all have value. I love this life, y'all. Thank you. All of you who showed up, I appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, share this video. I promise you that if you come back to this channel, I will continue to give you insight like this. I will continue to share with this community everything that I have inside of me that you might find useful. That is what I can promise you. I believe there's something useful in all of us. What I love about the age that I am now is that I believe that I can help someone. Yes, we're all a part of the same universe. All of us have value. All of us can add value. It's a decision that we make daily. I hope you guys have an amazing evening. Thank you for sharing, showing up, liking, loving this video. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate all of them. I'm here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's what I call Wellness Wednesdays, where we come together and we talk about issues that have to do with our spirit, soul, body, emotions. We want us to really find that place in life where we walk in self-care. Have an amazing night, everyone, and I'll talk to you again soon. I was on it for a while.